absolute power.
Hey everyone, this is Ring Authority News, your home for non-stop WWE energy. Subscribe now, and let's dive right into the ring. The WWE Universe was taken completely by surprise tonight after backstage reports revealed that Roman Reigns quietly paid a visit to Seth Rollins in the hospital. After weeks of silence following Rollins' devastating ambush at the hands of Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, this unexpected meeting between two former Shield brothers has left fans emotional, curious, and full of questions about what comes next. The fallout from the Vision's collapse. Seth Rollins has been out of action since the shocking betrayal that took place during the collapse of the Vision, his most recent faction. What began as a promising era of creativity and dominance quickly turned into a nightmare when his supposed allies, Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, ambushed him mid-segment, leaving the architect battered and motionless in the ring. The attack was brutal, sudden, and heartbreaking for fans who had watched Rollins build his identity piece by piece after years of reinvention. What made it sting even more was that it came from two men he had mentored, talents he believed could carry WWE into the future. The betrayal didn't just end a storyline, it fractured one of the most creative minds in the business. For weeks after, the WWE Universe waited for an update. Social media buzzed with speculation, clips of the assault replayed endlessly, and colleagues expressed concern over Rollins' condition. But Seth stayed silent. There were no interviews, no posts, just an air of mystery surrounding his recovery. That silence broke today, not through a statement or an appearance, but through the arrival of an unexpected visitor. Roman Reigns. Roman's quiet arrival. According to backstage reports, Roman Reigns arrived at the hospital earlier this afternoon with no entourage, no cameras, and no corporate presence. Just himself. Those close to the situation describe the moment as understated yet deeply powerful. Roman walked in wearing a simple hoodie and cap, far from his usual tribal chief persona seen on WWE television. Witnesses say that when he entered the room, there was a brief pause. Two old brothers-in-arms staring at each other, the weight of their shared past filling the air. Seth, still recovering but alert, reportedly smiled faintly as Roman approached. The two exchanged words that have already become the stuff of legend among insiders. "You'll rise again," Roman allegedly said. "You're still my brother." It was a quiet gesture that spoke volumes. For fans who have followed their journey from the days of the Shield to their eventual betrayals and battles, this simple statement hit deep. A history written in blood, sweat, and betrayal. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins share one of the most complicated relationships in WWE history. They started as brothers-in-arms, part of the Shield, a unit built on loyalty, dominance, and unity. Together with Dean Ambrose, now Jon Moxley in AEW, they conquered the WWE landscape and became icons of their generation. But that brotherhood was shattered in 2014 when Rollins turned on his partners, aligning with the Authority in one of the most infamous betrayals in wrestling history. That moment defined both men's careers. Seth became the architect, manipulating the chessboard from the shadows, while Roman became the face of power and dominance, eventually evolving into the tribal chief. Over the years, their paths crossed countless times, each encounter layered with history, pain, and unspoken respect. Their matches weren't just about titles or glory, they were about identity and unfinished business. Despite everything, their connection never truly faded. That's why Roman's hospital visit feels so significant. It's not just an act of kindness, it's a reflection of years of shared war, respect, and the undeniable bond that only former brothers can understand. What this could mean for WWE. Naturally, fans and insiders are buzzing about what Roman's visit could signify. Is this a sign of reconciliation? Or is it the calm before a storm? If there's one thing WWE history has taught us, it's that alliances built on history are always unpredictable. Reigns showing compassion doesn't necessarily mean peace. It could be a strategic move, or perhaps the beginning of something larger. Many within WWE's creative circles believe the visit could be the spark for a major storyline once Rollins returns. Imagine a reformed Shield, but not as the trio we once knew. Instead, a hardened alliance forged by experience and mutual respect. Others speculate that Roman may have ulterior motives, testing whether Seth is still emotionally vulnerable before launching his next move. Whatever the case, this reunion, no matter how brief, has shifted the emotional tone of WWE storytelling. It has reminded fans that beyond the spectacle and storylines, there are deep personal connections that make the drama resonate. Roman's transformation. It's also worth noting how much Roman Reigns himself has evolved over the years. The man who once stood silently beside Seth and Ambrose is now one of the most commanding and psychologically complex figures in wrestling history. His tribal chief era has redefined what it means to lead, not through volume or charisma alone, but through dominance, manipulation, and control. Yet, moments like this hospital visit remind the world that behind the aura of power, there's still the man who shared locker rooms, road trips, and life-changing experiences with his Shield brothers. His visit wasn't about theatrics. It was about humanity. And that's what makes it resonate. Seth Rollins, the road ahead. For Seth Rollins, this visit could mark the beginning of a new chapter. Sources close to WWE creative suggest that his recovery is progressing steadily, and that his return could be timed for early next year. Whether he comes back as the visionary, the architect, or something entirely new, his story is far from over. Roman's words, "You'll rise again," could become the rallying cry for Rollins' next evolution. Imagine a Seth who rises from betrayal stronger than ever, fueled not by vengeance, but by redemption. Whether as an ally or adversary, a confrontation between Rollins and Roman upon his return would be nothing short of cinematic. Brotherhood beyond storylines. The most powerful element of this story isn't just its potential for television, it's the authenticity behind it. Roman's gesture reminds fans that beyond the rivalries and scripted feuds, there are genuine relationships that have shaped WWE's greatest eras. Reigns and Rollins represent two sides of the same coin: ambition and loyalty, dominance and intellect, leadership and innovation. Their connection transcends wins and losses. It's about legacy. What comes next? As of now, WWE has not released any official footage or photos from Roman's hospital visit, maintaining the mystique surrounding the moment. But one thing is certain: the seeds have been planted for something extraordinary. Whether this leads to a Shield-inspired alliance, a shocking betrayal, or a story of redemption, tonight's news has reignited emotions that only these two men can evoke. The WWE Universe finds itself at the edge of anticipation once again, waiting for the next chapter in one of wrestling's most iconic brotherhoods. Because if history has shown us anything, it's that when Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins cross paths, something unforgettable always happens.